All right. Good afternoon, everybody. As you well know, my name is John Jairo Calderon. I will be your tutor for this masterclass number 7. So I want to begin by saying that I'm going to welcome everybody and give you a strong and very warm hello on this cold Friday afternoon. It began raining, but here we are, ready to go for this masterclass number 7. All right, before I begin, let's give a warm hello to Ashley, to Albanis, to Jacob Gonzalez. Okay, thank you guys for being here. If I missed anybody, please let me know. But up to now, you guys are the only ones in here, but I believe that more people will be coming. And for those of you who are watching it at a later time, not live, welcome. Um, we're going to have some fun. We're going to see some new things. Now, as you guys well know, this masterclass is basically based on developing listening skills. So, before we get started, I also want to say the following. The previous master classes were centered and focused around, what we know as the state exam, ICFES. Yes, that does not mean that these listening skills and activities and strategies also that we're going to present today will not help you. Yes, they will also help you because remember that listening is a register skill, just as reading is a registered skill. So when we read and listen, what we do is read, listen, we get the information, we decode the information, and we make sense of it either to answer questions or to talk about the things that are required to talk about, depending whether it's an activity of listening and speaking, or basically if it's something in the ICFES exam, Saber Once. Okay, so what are we gonna have today? What is our panorama? Yes, what is it that we're going to do? Well, let's take a look at it. So welcome everybody to masterclass number 7. It's called Developing Listening Skills. Okay, I see that Isabel is in the building as well. So welcome, Isabel, also. Let me see if anybody else is in here. Okay, that's basically about it. So what are we doing today? So we're going to divide this into 4 sessions. Well, basically it's 5 parts, but like the main part of this masterclass is separated into 4 sessions. So session number 1, we have understanding the basics of listening. Very important. Yes, we're going to see why the basics of listening are important to all language learners. Very, very important. Session number 2, we have developing pre-listening skills. Okay, also important. Session 3, we have during listening strategies. Okay, we're going to present some strategies for you guys while we listen, while we have an audio, while we have a video, or while we are observing a conversation. It doesn't really have to be videos or audios, it can be 2 people talking or a group of people talking. So that's session number 3. Session number 4, we have post listening activities. And finally, we have session 5, and that's where we wrap it up. That's where we take everything we have seen, we wrap it up by talking about everything we have seen. And I will ask you guys, what did you learn from today's masterclass number 7? So keep in mind, they are separated into 5 sessions. The first 4 are to help you better understand what listening is, what we need to know about listening, and how we should carry out a listening activity, whether it's an audio, whether it's a video with audio, or as I said previously, whether it's about people talking in person. So sometimes we may have some of our classmates, talking. They are carrying out a conversation on a certain topic. Well, keep in mind that these sessions can help you. They can help you to better comprehend what is being said, to find a context about what is being said, and possibly have a discussion about what is being said. Okay, so let's get going. You guys remember, yes, before we begin, what do you think is coming up? Yes, what is coming up? What can you guys tell me? Does anybody know what's coming up? Before we get into the 4 sessions, what do we usually do? We do some kind of activity. You guys remember last week's activity? Anybody remind us what last week's activity was? Anybody know? Remember, before we began session or master class number 6, we did an activity. Somebody remember what that activity might be?
Acrostic, I think.
Okay, possibly, but that's close. But maybe that was in number 5, or that was part of 6. Anybody else want to take a risk at guessing what we did before we began master class number 6, which is what we're going to do now? Anybody have any ideas? Nope. Okay, by the way, before I begin, if you look at the chat, the you're gonna find I'll tell you guys this part in Spanish. Van a encontrar el enlace para la asistencia in the chat box. Okay. All right, so what's coming up? Well, last week we began with a riddle. Not one riddle, but various riddles. And today we're going to do exactly the same thing. So if you know the riddles, let's give some people the opportunity to try and guess what they are. Okay, I see some more people. Santiago Munoz, welcome to masterclass number 7. So let's begin. Okay, let's begin. Are you guys ready? Here we go. Let's see what we can find out on here. Here's a riddle for you. The riddle is, what comes down but never goes up? Can somebody analyze, think about it, uh, read it carefully, try and put some logic to it, and answer? What comes down but never goes up? Last week we had one that was similar. Yes, very similar. And it was backwards. We said what goes up but never comes down, and that was age, your age. You always you always go up in age as time passes. Every year you're 1 year older, and that never comes down. Well, this is practically the opposite. What comes down but never goes up? Anybody have any idea?
I think that is the rain.
Okay, it's the rain. Who was talking right there? Because I didn't see on the list of people here.
Albanis.
Excuse me again?
Albanis.
Okay, Albanis. Okay, you think it's the rain, Albanis?
Yes,
Okay, because you know, or because you are applying a little bit of logic to it?
because I know.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that is true. Yes. What's the answer? Rain. Exactly. Always keep that in mind. Rain always comes down, but it never goes up. Yes. Never, ever goes up. Very good, Albanis. Let's continue. All right. Here's another one for you guys. See if you know this one. What is always in front of you but can't be seen? There's something in life that is always
I
in
think
front
it's
of
the
you.
nose.
The nose. Jacob says the nose. Okay. Anybody have a different answer?
And I think that is the sun.
The what?
The sun.
Okay. You mean the sun, the one that gives us light?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, we have two. Jacob says your nose, and Albani says the sun, which provides light for us. Okay, I want to tell you guys, those are not the answers. Try again. What is in front of you? Because if I go cross-eyed, if I cross my eyes, I can see my nose from, each side. And if I look up during the day and it's a sunny day, I can see the sun. I cannot stare at the sun because I can damage my eyesight. However, if I glance at the sun really quickly, yes, I can see the sun. Anybody else have a different answer? What is always in front of you but cannot be seen? You can't see it.
The
Anybody else?
lights.
The lights?
Yes.
Okay. Explain to me what you mean by the lights, Albanis.
Can be that a person say you a lie and you don't.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's not the answer, but it's a good answer. Lies. Yeah. Sometimes we know people and they tell us things and they turn out to be lies. So, therefore, that would be a very good answer, Albanis, but it's still not the answer. As lies, things that we cannot see, the answer for this is something we cannot see, but we experience it and we live it.
The air. I think that you say air, fire, air.
Okay, that's another good answer. Logically speaking, that could be the answer. All right, I'm going to put up the answer and we'll see what the answer is. So, what is always in front of you but can't be seen? The future is the answer. Okay, the future. But nevertheless, the answers that you guys gave us are very good answers. So, very good. Thank you, Jacob and Albanis. Now, remember, don't, let's not keep this just to a few people, two people talking. If you want to talk, go ahead, turn on your microphone and talk to us. Or if you feel shy about talking, live on a microphone, just write the answer in the chat box also. Okay, let's go. Here we go again. Here's the last one, okay? And as last week I said that's the last one, but no, it's not the last one. All right, here we go with this one. This one says, I'm not alive, but I can grow. I don't have lungs. You know what lungs are? Anybody know what lungs are? Okay, these are the bags that are in my torso for me to breathe. They fill up with air, yes, and when you breathe out, the air comes out of these. Anybody know what lungs are? You can tell me in Spanish if you want. Okay, I'll say it. Lungs are pulmones. So I'm not alive, but I can grow. I don't have lungs, but I need air. I don't have a mouth, but water kills me. What am I? Anybody know the answer? Okay. Ashley says a plant. A plant. Anybody else?
The
I
fire.
think it's a fire. Like the fire.
Okay. Okay. Jacob says fire. I think Albani said also fire, right? Albani, you also said fire?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Ashley, that's a good guess. That is a good guess. It's pretty logical, yeah. However, the correct answer is fire. Yeah. I'm not alive, but I can grow. I don't have lungs, but I need air. I don't have a mouth, but water kills me. What am I? I am fire. Okay, very good. This one is the last one for sure. Okay. What can you break even if you never pick it up or touch it? Analyze that one. Tell me what it is. Okay, excuse me, I was coughing, so that's why I turned off my microphone. Okay, anybody have the answer? What can you break even if you never pick it up or touch it? Who can give us a guess on this one? What can you break even if you never pick it up, levantarlo, or touch it, tocarlo? If you notice, these riddles have been very abstract in nature. They've been abstract in nature because they are things we can't not see. They are things we simply can't see. So therefore, they are abstract in nature. Anybody have the answer? What can you break even if you never pick it up or touch it? Nobody has the answer? Okay, here we go. Here is the answer. The answer is a promise. Okay, you can break a promise. And even if you can't pick it up because a promise cannot be touched or even touch it because a promise is something that is abstract. Okay, very good. Let's continue. All right, we're going to go into session number 1. Okay, please remember this is based on listening. And the idea is that we get information, we use this information, and ultimately what we need to do is, and in reality, is improve our listening skills. Okay, so we're going to begin with understanding the basics of listening, entendiendo digamos que lo más básico, lo básico de la parte auditiva en lengua extranjera para nosotros. Yes, foreign language. Understanding the basics of listening. So let's begin with one of two very important things as the basics of listening. We have active listening. Does anybody know what active listening is? Anybody have any idea what is meant by active listening? And this is like when we say, si yo estoy escuchando algo, debo tener una mente activa, ¿sí? Todo lo que yo escucho en lengua extranjera, en este caso el inglés, es estar pendientes, es estar atentos a lo que yo escucho. Cuando yo estoy atento, cuando yo estoy pendiente de las cosas, significa que yo soy una persona, digamos, activa con la parte auditiva. Yes? So, in this case, excuse me. In this case, the listener is focused, está enfocado, understands, entiende lo que está escuchando, and interprets, interpreta what is being said. So keep in mind those three things. When I am an active listener, I am focused, number one, and if I am focused, I understand and comprehend. And therefore, what I listen to, I interpret it. Yes, I am able to interpret. Soy capaz de interpretar lo que estoy escuchando. So those three things are very important for active listening. Now, that says active listening as an activity, but we can be active listeners. We can also be active listeners. And an active listener might focus on the teacher's pronunciation. Therefore, the active listener takes notes, yes, apuntes, and asks questions for clarification. So it's interesting, yeah? Si soy let's say a listener, yes, activo, yo estoy enfocado, yo entiendo, comprendo, yo interpreto lo que estoy escuchando. Luego, como un active listener, la idea que estoy enfocado, ¿en qué me enfoco? Puede ser la pronunciación del docente, del profe, puede ser la pronunciación del audio que estoy escuchando o puede ser la pronunciación de un video, lo que estamos escuchando, viendo en un video. Luego tomamos apuntes y con esto podemos hacer preguntas para clarificar, para descifrar, para comprender lo que se está diciendo. So an active listener might focus on the teacher's pronunciation, take notes, and asks questions for clarification. So when we understand the basics of listening, we need to continue, or not continue, but we need to take into consideration active listening. Okay. Now, in the basics of listening, we have active listening. What would be the opposite, lo opuesto a active listening? ¿Qué me puede decir? Y me lo pueden decir en español, si no saben, en inglés, o me lo pueden escribir. ¿Quién me podría decir qué es lo opuesto a active listening? Recordemos que una persona activa cuando está escuchando, sí, puede ser un video, una conversación, el profe, o puede ser un audio. Cuando la persona es activa, en este sentido, está enfocado para comprender, para interpretar, puede ser que tome apuntes y luego hacer preguntas para, no sé, salir de alguna duda con lo que está escuchando. Entonces, in this case, that's an active listener. What's the opposite, lo opuesto of active listening? Alguien me podría decir, maybe Jacob. Do you know Jacob or Albanis?
Yeah, Professor. The opposite of active listener is inactive listener.
Okay.
Someone
Inactive
who,
listener. Okay,
yeah.
that's a good answer. And the answer I'm going to give is exactly the same, but said in different words. So understanding basics of listening, we have active listening and we have passive listening, which is what Jacob said, inactive listening. Passive listening. Una persona que a pesar de que está escuchando, es un ente pasivo, es una persona pasiva. ¿Por qué? Well, this happens in everyday situations where language is being spoken, but the listener is not focused. Okay? Entonces, todo lo contrario. En active listening, la persona escuchando está enfocada. En passive listening, la persona no está enfocada. Yes? La persona está, la persona es, digamos que es una persona activa, pero con la parte de listening, he or she is not active. He or she is passive. So, a good example of this, we can do homework while listening to music on YouTube. Por ejemplo, yo como docente, a veces estoy corrigiendo exámenes, quizzes, y yo pongo música. Yo pongo música, la pongo pasito, pero me gusta escuchar las melodías, pero no estoy activo con lo que estoy escuchando. De vez en cuando como que despierto y digo, me gusta esa canción. Okay, so that is as Jacob said, an inactive listener. But in this case, we call it passive listening or a passive listener. So understanding the basics, remember we have active listening and we have passive listening. And this happens in everyday situations where language is being spoken, but the listener is not focused. And an example of that is we can do homework while listening to music on YouTube. Okay, who can give me one example of passive listening that is based on you in your life? What have you experienced? What have you experienced that you can say that is passive listening. Anybody want to share something? Albanis, Jacob, Ashley, you can write it if you guys want. Jeronimo, if you want. Isabel, if anybody wants to share anything that you would consider a passive listening activity. I gave you mine, for example. We can do homework while listening to music on YouTube, but I am not focused on the music. I am focused on my work, but the music is there because I like it and I like to listen to it. Let me give you another example. Maybe if I take the bus, if I go to my work, if I go to the University of Quindío by bus, I can sit in the bus. I hear the engine of the bus. I hear the traffic, and I hear the people inside the bus talking, but I am being passive. I don't listen to their conversations. I know that they're talking because I listen and I hear a lot of words, but I am not focused. That is another example of passive listening. Anybody want to share another one? Would anybody like to share one? Albanis or Jacob or Ashley, anybody? Jeronimo, Isabel? Don't be shy. You guys can do this. Nope. Okay, while you think about it, and after, if you want to tell us, you can share it with us. All right, you guys. So let's go into something that you might be interested in. Okay, so we have video number one. Video number one says, watch the video and decide if the girl is an active or passive listener. Okay, watch the video and decide if the girl is an active or passive listener. Here we go. Si de pronto no escuchan el video, me avisan de una. Por favor, pueden prender el micrófono o me escriben en el chat box. Me dice, profe, no escuchamos el video. Here we go. Listen carefully.
Professor, it doesn't have sound.
Okay, hold on 1 second. How about there? I see.
First, there was PlayStation, aka PS1. Then there's PS2, PS3,
Good.
and now PS4.
Great.
That makes sense. You'd think after Xbox, there'd be Xbox.
You have, can you hear it?
Yeah, it's okay,
Okay.
Professor. It's okay.
All right, let me start it again. So look at the girl, tell me if she's a passive or active listener and what she does after. Here we go.
First, there was PlayStation, aka PS1. Then there's PS2, PS3, and now PS4. And that makes sense. You'd think after Xbox, there'd be Xbox 2. But no. Next came Xbox 360. And now, after 360, comes Xbox One. Why one? Maybe that's how many seconds of thought they put into naming it.
Can you get the butter, please?
Yeah. However, with the Xbox One, I can control my entire entertainment system using voice commands. Up until now, I've had to use Leonard.
Get the other one. Pass the butter.
Hang on. I don't feel like you're taking this dilemma seriously.
Fine, Sheldon. You have my undivided attention.
Okay, now, the PS4 is more angular and sleek looking.
No way!
It's true. But the larger size of the Xbox One may keep it from overheating.
You wouldn't want your gaming system to overheat?
No, you absolutely would not. And furthermore, the Xbox One now comes with a Kinect included.
Included?
Yes. Not sold separately. Although the PS4 uses cool new GDDR5 RAM, while the Xbox One is still using the conventional DDR3 memory.
Why would they still be using DDR3? Are they nuts?
See, that's what I thought. But then they go and throw in an ES RAM buffer.
Wait a second. Who's they?
The Xbox.
You're kidding!
This ES RAM buffer should totally bridge the 100 gigabit per second bandwidth gap between the two RAM types.
This is a nightmare. How will you ever make a decision?
See, I don't know. What should I do?
Please pass the
Okay. So, was she an active or passive listener? Who can tell me? ¿Quién me puede decir si ella estuvo activa o pasiva mientras que el compañero le hablaba? Okay, Albani says passive. Okay. Why do you say passive, Albanis?
I don't understand well what is passive, but she's not active
Okay.
because he is talking and she is not paying attention.
Okay, that's exactly it, Albanis. You don't understand passive, but passive is exactly what you said. She is there and she knows that a person is talking to her. However, she is not paying attention. She is not focused on the words of her friend. Okay, so that is a passive listener. And then she becomes very sarcastic. Ella se pone un poco sarcástica porque empieza como a llevar la conversación al punto de que ella le dice, ya gritándole, que por favor le pase la mantequilla. So yeah, she's very passive, very, very passive person. Okay, very good. So why or why not? Exactly because of what Albani said. Because she's there, but she's not paying attention to her friend. Okay, that makes her a passive listener. Very good. Let's continue. All right. So let me ask you guys a question. What superhero is a passive listener because he always wants to do the talking? Think of the superheroes from Marvel, yes, or any other type of brand name where, you know, there are superheroes. Who is a superhero that is very passive because he or she always wants to speak? And most of the times, not always, but most of the times, the people who like to speak a lot, los que siempre quieren hablar, por lo general son passive listeners, es decir, por lo general, como que no se enfocan mucho en lo que dice la gente porque quieren tomar la palabra. Okay, so think who of all the superheroes, can you think of ones that are passive listeners? You guys can write it in the chat box. Me disculpan si en algún momento apago el micrófono para toser, porque estoy un poquito mal de la garganta, pero I will do that. Okay, superhero. Jacob, do you know a superhero who is very passive? He's a passive listener, meaning he doesn't focus on what you know, another superhero says or anybody. Anybody know? Think of
No, Professor. I am a fan of that kind of movies, but I don't remember.
Okay. Albanis, do you know? Or Ashley, do you know?
No.
No. Jerónimo, do you know which superhero is a passive listener, or Isabel or Santiago? A passive listener, somebody that does not focus on what other people say. Okay, let's look at it. Let's look and see. How about this guy, Iron Man or Tony Stark? And I would think more Tony Stark than Iron Man. So let's check this out. Okay, in this video, watch the video And notice that Bruce Banner, this guy's Bruce Banner, and he's also the Hulk. Bruce Banner is the passive listener while Tony Stark does the talking. So here's a good example. Here's a good example of a person who is a good listener, but in this moment, he's not a good listener. And Mr. Tony Stark, who is a passive listener because he always wants to talk. Él siempre quiere hablar. Tony Stark siempre quiere tomar la palabra, tiene que ser la persona en el sitio donde esté que lo tienen que escuchar. Eso es parte de su personalidad. Mientras que Bruce Banner is a good listener. But in this case, esta parte, las cartas se voltean. Y miremos. Here we go.
Wow. I had no idea you were such a good listener. To be able to share all my intimate thoughts, my experiences with someone, it just cuts the weight of it in half. You know, it's like a snake swallowing its own tail. Everything comes full circle. And the fact that you've been able to help me process.
So
You with me?
it was, yeah. Where we were at
You actively napping?
I drifted.
Where did I lose you?
An elevator in Switzerland.
So you heard none of it.
I'm sorry. I'm not that kind of doctor. I'm not a therapist. It's not my training.
So?
I don't have the
What, the time?
temperament.
You know what, now that I think about it, oh God, my original wound. 1983. All right. I'm
Yes.
15 years old. I still have a nanny. That was
Okay.
wow.
Okay, so in that scene, in that scene that you guys just saw, Mr. Bruce Banner, he was a very passive listener. Why was he a passive listener? ¿Alguien me puede decir por qué Bruce Banner era, en este caso, en ese videoclip, era un passive listener? Why? Can somebody please tell me? Why was he a passive listener? Anybody know? Anybody have any idea? Jacob, you have any idea, or Abanis? Why was Bruce Banner a passive listener?
Because
Okay.
he didn't pay attention to the talking that is doing Tony Stark.
Okay. And why do you think he didn't pay attention, Jacob?
Because he was like he was in an attitude of I'm sorry of even I think that that he is sleepy.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, he was somewhat sleepy. And like you said, Jacob, he had the attitude of, I don't want to listen. Yeah, I don't want to listen. So that is an example of a passive listener. Okay, guys, let's go on with this. And
Wow.
whoops, we're
I had no
not gonna watch it
Yeah,
again.
you're such a good listener.
Hold on.
Doctor. I'm not a therapist. It's not.
Wow.
Okay, okay, there it is. All right, so ultimately, balance is important. Okay, let me tell you why. Balancear las dos, passive and active, son importantes. Si ustedes se consideran una persona pasiva, es decir, si ustedes están viendo un audio, veo un video o escuchando un audio y de pronto no están enfocados, eso no es algo malo, ¿sí? Preferible ser uno activo, yes, an active listener. So, keep this in mind. Recuerden esto, por favor. Ups, momentico, que esto está un poquito, okay. Both active and passive listening play important roles in language learning. Yes, in language learning. Entonces, tengamos en cuenta que ambos, active y passive listening, juegan un rol, un papel muy importante en el aprendizaje de una lengua extranjera. Ok, ¿por qué? Why? Regular exposure to both active and passive listening situations can help you become more proficient in understanding and using the language. Hay momentos en los cuales uno puede ser activo y en otros momentos puede ser pasivo. Pues resulta que los dos ayudan mucho. Los dos generan, ¿sí? Digamos, esa parte de ser proficient. Proficient es que es uno proficiente, que uno tiene la capacidad, ¿sí? De entender, bien sea porque es active o porque es passive. Y esto ayuda mucho para la comprensión cuando utilizamos la segunda lengua o la lengua extranjera, que es el caso de nosotros acá en Colombia. Entonces, por favor, no vayan a pensar que ser passive es malo. No, a veces necesitamos ser passive listeners para comprender ciertas situaciones que estamos escuchando por medio de un audio o un video o, como les dije anteriormente, en una conversación que está ocurriendo en el momento entre dos compañeros, entre un grupo de compañeros, entre dos docentes también, etcétera, etcétera. Okay, so please keep that part in mind. Balance between both active and passive is very important because you become a proficient user of the language. Proficient user of the language. Very good. So let's look at some questions and answers. So, what can we say about the basics of listening? What can we say? ¿Qué podemos decir acerca de las cosas básicas de la parte auditiva en el aprendizaje de una lengua extranjera, en este caso el inglés? Es lo siguiente. Be an active listener, be a passive listener as well. Hay momentos, como les dije anteriormente, ser active, be an active listener es bueno. Y hay otros momentos en los cuales ser passive listener también es bueno. Entonces, balance, balanceo, yes? Let's balance the two. Okay, very good. Let's go on to session number 2. Let's go into session number 2. Session number 2, okay? What is session number 2 about? Developing pre-listening skills. Okay, let me explain a little bit about this. I don't know if you guys remember in your English classes when your teacher puts an audio or a video, or your teacher begins to talk to you in English, they always ask you questions before you listen to the audio and before you watch the video. They will ask you questions. That is very important for you. Well, why is it important? Well, it is important because you need to have a context. Necesitas tener un contexto. ¿Para qué es el contexto? El contexto de lo que viene, ¿sí? Es importante porque nos ayuda con todo lo que ya conocemos, bien sea por medio de vocabulario, bien sea por medio de una experiencia, bien sea porque es lo que estoy viviendo, etcétera, etcétera. Entonces, antes de escuchar algo, sea por medio de un video o un audio, es bueno tener una idea, ¿sí? Para uno poder utilizar la información que uno ya tiene, the information that I have. Por eso es que se llama pre, ¿sí? Pre significa antes, pre-listening skills. So, pre-listening skills, what are they for? ¿Para qué son? They proveen o nos dan, they provide the foundation, yes, the foundation for effective listening comprehension. Okay, I need to know things before. Why? Because I need to be able to talk about what is coming, what is next. Okay, number one. Number two, developing pre-listening skills familiarize the learner with the topic and key vocabulary. Okay. Entonces, cuando me hacen preguntas de algo que yo voy a ver, pero todavía no sé, ¿sí? Yo me tengo que familiarizar con el tema y algunas palabras o vocabulario, ítems de vocabulario clave, ¿sí? Necesito. ¿Por qué? Porque es que yo tengo que pensar en lo que yo ya sé que lo pueda utilizar para comprender el tema que viene un poco mejor. So familiarize learners with the topic and key vocabulary. Also, developing pre-listening skills, they are good for why? Because they activan, they activate prior knowledge, el conocimiento previo. ¿El conocimiento previo de qué? Del tema, como lo dice aquí, topic. They activate prior knowledge and help learners make connections and predictions. Nos ayuda a hacer algún tipo de conexión con lo que ya sé y con lo que viene. Y también predecir. ¿Predecir qué? Lo que de pronto va a ocurrir, lo que de pronto voy a escuchar en un video o en un audio. Y por último, tenemos developing pre-listening skills. They help learners build confidence to understand the topic and context. Entonces, las habilidades del el pre-listening, ¿sí? Nos ayuda o ayuda a todo mundo a tener confianza en sí mismo. ¿Con qué fin? Con el fin de entender, comprender el tema y el contexto. Entonces, miremos que en esta habilidad de listening, ¿sí? Una de las palabras claves es contexto, context, yes, context. Entonces, listening skills help us, nos ayudan a qué? A tener confianza en lo que yo ya sé para poder comprender lo que viene, para poder comprender o para poder descifrar, registrar y luego descifrar lo que escucho. To understand the topic and context. Okay, everybody, is this clear? Is this part clear? Isabel, Santiago, Jerónimo, is this clear? Jacob, Albanis, Ashley?
Yes, Professor, it's clear.
Okay, very good. Porque si no es claro, it's not clear, please say, Professor, wait one moment. I did not comprehend this. Please explain it to me again. Y yo con mucho gusto les vuelvo a explicar y les doy ejemplos. Ok, pero vamos a ver ejemplos acá. Ok, developing pre-listening skills. All right, so what do we have for pre-listening skills? We have one question. Here's a question for all of you. Read the question, please, and try to give me an answer. What is one of the most difficult things about learning English? ¿Alguien me puede decir? Una de las cosas más difíciles de aprender inglés. ¿Quién me puede decir? Y me lo pueden escribir si quieren en el chat box, yo lo leo. What is one of the most difficult things about learning English? Can somebody please tell me or write it to me? Write it in the chat box. Anybody have any ideas?
Professor, I think that one of the most difficult things about learning English is listen when native people is talking in that language, because reading is always more easier, and understand words with
Okay.
the eyes. It's easier than hear them, I think.
Okay.
But,
Let's say,
it's an ability and a skill that I can train, that you can train.
okay. All right, thank you for that, Jacob. So Jacob says listening. Ashley says write correctly all the words. Okay, that is also difficult. So I'm going to give you guys some options right here. Look on the screen. Is it reading? Is it speaking? Is it pronunciation? Is it listening? Is it writing? Is it grammar? Is it learning vocabulary? Is it, if you guys had to choose one of these, si tuvieran que elegir una de estas, which one do you choose? Anybody know? If you had to choose one of these, okay, Ashley says grammar, okay. Anybody else? You can write it in the chat box. Ashley just wrote grammar. Okay. Jacob said, obviously, listening. Anybody else? Okay, let's look at it. Now, this is an answer that I give because it's one of the things that my students, mis estudiantes de la universidad, they have issues, they have problems with this. Y ahora les explico por qué. So, what is one of the most difficult things about learning English of all of the ones that we have right here? It's pronunciation. Pronunciation. Okay, why is it pronunciation? Well, let's take a look at why it's difficult. Como un hecho, a fact. Yes? Because in Spanish, we have 5 vowels and they sound the same in all words. We have 5 vowels. We have A, E, I, O, y U. Y por ejemplo, la A en la palabra house, pero en español es casa. Si yo empiezo a desbaratar la palabra por sonidos, voy a encontrar que la letra que yo escribí, que es la A, sigue con la misma pronunciación. Entonces, A, E, I, O, U. La A con la C, como nos enseñaron, K. ¿Yes? Y el resto, casa. Sigue siendo la misma. Okay. Como hecho, as a fact. Yes? Pronunciation is not easy for some people. Okay. Why? Because of this. And, yes, or, but, here's the one that is difficult. In English, there are 5 vowels, las mismas 5 vocales que encontramos en español, las encontramos en inglés y decimos A, E, I, O, and U. However, sin embargo, estas 5 vocales, diferente a las 5 en español, A, E, I, O, U, que son las mismas en todas las palabras, estas 5 vocales en inglés tienen aproximadamente 17 sonidos diferentes para las 5 vocales. Oh my gosh. Yes. Entonces, ¿qué ocurre? Que cuando yo me acostumbro, porque es que en mi lengua nativa me enseñaron a decir la C con la A es K, y yo veo, por ejemplo, la palabra carro, ¿sí? Yo asumo que esa misma A va a funcionar en inglés, no solo con la palabra carro, pero cualquier otra que tenga CA. Entonces, carro, yo digo car, ya cambió. Yo ya no digo A, yo no digo car, yo digo car. Y ahí cambia el sonido un poquito. ¿Por qué? Porque está siendo interpretado por uno de los 17 sonidos para las 5 vocales. Yes. ¿Cómo digo cámara en inglés? Yo digo camera. Y el sonido de la A no es el mismo que vamos a utilizar en inglés para la palabra camera. Entonces, A latina para cámara, pero en inglés yo digo camera, muy diferente. Entonces, ¿qué ocurre? que sí es un hecho que la pronunciación en inglés no es fácil para algunas personas debido a esto. 5 sonidos para las vocales en español y las mismas 5 vocales, pero tienen aproximadamente 17 sonidos diferentes. So in English, there are 5 vowels and there are about 17 sounds for the 5 vowels. Oh my gosh. Okay, keep that in mind. And that's why pronunciation can be very difficult for people who are learning English. Extremely difficult. So let's look at this. Everybody look at the picture. Yes? And what do you think the funny looking man is going to talk about? Okay, what do you think the funny man is going to talk about? This picture is from a video we're going to watch. What do you think, according to what he's holding, what do you think he is going to talk about? ¿Alguien de pronto sabe qué estamos haciendo acá? Si miramos bien, es pre-listening activity, pre-listening skill. ¿Sí? Entonces, ¿qué estamos haciendo acá? Estamos basándonos en lo que acabamos de hablar de toda esta parte de pronunciation. Ahora tenemos esta foto y según la foto, ¿ustedes qué creen? De que en el video que sigue, que va a estar este señor, que se ve muy gracioso, ¿ustedes qué creen de qué va a hablar este señor? Anybody have an idea? What do you think he is going to talk about? Anybody have an idea? Why are Jerónimo, Santiago, Isabel, why are you guys so quiet? And well, Ashley is writing, so there's no problem there. But all the talking is being done by Jacob and Albanis. So I'm going to ask Jacob. Jacob, according to the picture, the man and what he has in his hand, what do you think he's going to talk about?
He's going to talk about advertising because he has like a sign in his hand.
Okay. All right. Okay. Very good, Jacob. Let's find out. Let's see what this man is going to talk about. Here we go. So for video 1, watch the video and see why pronunciation can be difficult in English. Here we go.
B-O-M-B, bomb. T-O-M-B, Tom, no, tomb. T-O-M-B is tomb, that's boom, the bomb's over. That's bomb, that's tomb, get ready. Is this calm or coom? No, that's comb. C-O-M-B, comb. P-O-M-B, poem. No, poem is P-O with an E with an M. Now, P-O-E-M, poem. H-O-E-M, home. No, home is H-O with an M with an E. H-O-M-E, home. S-O-M-E, some. No, that's some. S-O-M-E, some. N-O-M-E, numb. No, that's N-U-M-B. The whole doggone thing is dumb.
Okay. What happened? He showed us the different variations of the letter O in sound. Entonces, una cosa es lo que uno escribe, una cosa lo que uno pronuncia. Entonces, él nos está demostrando por medio de este video que el inglés no se pronuncia de acuerdo a cómo lo escribimos, como lo es en español. Y eso que hace que la pronunciación sea una de las cosas más difíciles del inglés. ¿Y es por qué? Por lo que les dije anteriormente. Uno tiene que tratar de mirar el inglés desde otra perspectiva, más por sonido que por otra cosa. Okay, so pronunciation is difficult. He showed us through mostly the letter O and at the end the letter U. That pronunciation is very, very difficult. Okay, we got video 2. Here's another one. But tell me something about that picture. Now, down here it says French, and down here and up here it says 8. And if we translate that number 8, número 8. But remember, French, y miremos el sombrerito. Yes. ¿Qué nos dice esta foto según lo que viene ahora en el video? Think about it. And yes.
He's gonna try to check in English, but he's French, and it maybe represents for him.
Okay. All right, very good, Jacob. Yeah, he's gonna try and pronounce according to what you see, because French can be similar in some ways to Spanish. That the way I write it is the way I pronounce it. So he's going to try and do exactly the same thing, but he is French. Here we go. Let's watch the video and see what he comes up with.
English? Yes, French.
What does this spell?
That's 8.
8, but I thought this was 8.
Yeah, that's also 8.
But wait, if this is 8, then this must be hate.
It's different. Now it's height.
Height? But this is 8, this is height? Okay, so then this is also height?
What are you talking about? It's 8, obviously.
This stays height, obviously. Okay, so wait, let me get this straight. If this is height, then this must be white.
Well, see, that's a different letter, right? So it goes back to being 8. It's weight.
Wait? It goes back to weight? Okay, so when you wait for someone, you spell it like this?
Why would weight be spelled like that? That's ridiculous.
I have one last question. This is eat, right? So then this is great.
No, that's great.
Great? This is great, but this is eat. This is great. This is 8. This is high. I don't get it.
Okay. So, if we look at the languages, there are several languages that we pronounce the way we write. The way I write is the way I pronounce it. English is not like that, and that's why pronunciation is difficult in English. I would say that speaking compared to this is easier. Writing is easier. Grammar is easier than this, and yeah, all of these are a lot more easy than, pronunciation. Why? Because they just proved it. Nos acaba de mostrar cómo es que cambian las palabras y por qué cambian simplemente porque le agregó una letra. Entonces uno pensaría, sigue siendo weight, y si le quito la W y le pongo H, sería hate, pero no, it's height, estatura. Entonces miremos que el inglés en este sentido es complejo, bastante complejo. Okay, good. Let's continue. So, who can be a brave volunteer and say these words? Can somebody turn on the microphone and pronounce these words? Jacob, you want to try?
Okay, Professor.
Okay, what's that word, Jacob?
Operate.
Okay, very good. Operate. What is that word, Jacob? The next one, whoops.
Operation.
Okay, good. What is that one?
Cooperate.
Cooperate, very good. And what is this one, Jacob?
Cooperative.
Okay, close, close. So we have operate, operation, cooperate, and most people, la mayoría de la gente que está aprendiendo inglés o que en algunos casos que ya saben, dicen cooperative, cooperative, y no es cooperative. Si yo acá digo cooperate, ¿por qué lo voy a cambiar acá si lo único que le estoy agregando es algo al final? Y este sería cooperative or cooperative. Cualquiera de las dos. Operate, operation, cooperate, and cooperative or cooperative. Okay, that is an example of why pronunciation is difficult. And how about this one? Jacob, if you want to try the next one. How do you say
There.
there?
There.
There?
They are.
Okay. All right. I got some bad news for you, Jacob. Okay. The correct pronunciation for this is, you said it correct, there, here, exactly the same as this. There, and this is exactly the same as these two. There. Okay. Miren lo complejo que es el inglés para
Okay,
palabras
Professor, I
tan
didn't know it.
sencillas. Yeah. They're exactly, the three are the same. There, there, there. Que el hecho de que vemos una I, no diríamos there, y acá there, they are, or there. No, los tres son igualitos. There, there, and there. Por ejemplo, please go over there. Or I can say, this is their classroom. Or I can say, they're my students. Exactly the same pronunciation for these three. Okay. Ahora, recordemos que esto es un ejemplo de lo que estamos viendo en los videos, pero tenemos que tener en cuenta que pre-listening, las actividades para antes, listening, es que nos presentan con algo, tratamos de utilizar lo que ya sabemos para poder hablar o predecir lo que viene en un audio o lo que viene en un video o en una conversación. There, and there. Y esa es la estrategia para pre-listening. Okay, very good for pre-listening. See, all right? So, ultimately, there is an importance for pre-listening activities. Why? Hay algo importante para las actividades, o es importante tener en cuenta las actividades de pre-listening. ¿Por qué? Bueno, primero, porque nos ayuda a predecir, ¿sí? Siempre, antes de que veamos algo, debemos predecir lo que posiblemente va a ocurrir. Bien sea porque vemos una foto, bien sea porque vemos un pedacito del video o escuchamos algo del audio, o simplemente porque el docente, nuestro profe, nos está contextualizando, es decir, nos está dando algunas pautas de lo que vamos a ver o escuchar. Entonces, con eso hacemos predicting. Otra cosa muy importante pues en la utilización de pre-listening activities es using your previous knowledge to comprehend the context. Utilizar el conocimiento que ya tenemos, el conocimiento previo, para comprender un contexto que llega, que se nos viene por medio del video o un audio. Entonces, very, very important. Okay, let's look at this now. Questions and answers. Why should we use pre-listening activities? ¿Por qué debemos utilizar actividades de pre-listening? Bueno, to prepare and comprehend what the listening will be about. Para prepararnos y comprender acerca de qué es lo que van a tratar en el audio o video. Yes? O, number two, perdón, to have confidence, tener algo de confianza en nosotros mismos, have confidence in ourselves so we can comprehend and talk. Let's keep that in mind. Give me 1 second. Voy a toser un momentico. Give me 1 second. Okay. Sorry about that. So, when we use the pre-listening activities, cuando utilizamos las actividades de pre-listening, lo que nos ayuda es tener confianza en sí mismo. ¿Para qué? Para comprender y luego hablar acerca de lo que comprendemos según el video o el audio o la conversación que esté ocurriendo en el momento. Entonces, pre-listening activities are very, very good. Yes? Uno no debe estar expuesto a un listening y simplemente colocan un video y ya conteste las preguntas. No, no debe tener una idea vaga, breve, general de qué es lo que voy a ver y escuchar. Okay, please keep that in mind. Okay, that's the end of session 2. Let's look at session number 3. Session number 3. When we talk about session number 3, we have during listening strategies. Okay, recordemos que la anterior era pre-listening strategies, estrategias de pre-listening o actividades o habilidades. En este caso, ya es el video. Ya nos prepararon, ya de pronto nos mostraron una foto, ya nos hablaron un poquito del contexto, ya nos dijeron que según esta foto, según este contexto, vamos a predecir de qué trata lo que vamos a escuchar o ver. Entonces, durante, ese es pre, el antes. Durante the listening, yes, we have during listening strategies for session number 3. Here we go. The role of note-taking in listening comprehension. So, when we do durante, when we do during listening strategies, yes, during the listening, mientras que ya estamos viendo el video o escuchando el audio, ¿qué debemos de hacer? ¿Qué tenemos que tener en cuenta? The role of note-taking in listening comprehension. Note-taking es tomar apuntes. Tomar apuntes. Muy, muy importante. Identify key information and main ideas. Entonces, durante las estrategias son que debemos tomar notas, ¿sí? Mientras que escuchamos o vemos un video y luego debemos de identificar información clave o las ideas principales. Todo esto tiene un porqué muy lógico. The why of this, very logical, very important. So these two are during listening strategies. And one more. Si yo puedo identificar la información clave con las ideas principales, ¿qué debo hacer luego? Es la retención de dicha información y las ideas principales. ¿Con qué fin? Para las discusiones. O sea, uno no debe simplemente mirar un video y ya por entretenimiento y ya se acabó. No. Para nosotros que estamos aprendiendo una lengua extranjera, debemos ver el video, cuestionarnos con la información que yo identifico y la información que yo retengo. ¿Por qué? Porque si estoy con otras personas o estoy en clase, todas estas ideas o esta información nos permite hablar de todo lo que ocurrió en el video, bien sea un video extenso, corto o inclusive una película. Yes? So let's keep that in mind, these three things. Note taking, que es la toma de apuntes. Key information and main ideas, que es información clave y las ideas principales. Y luego retain, la retención de estas mismas. ¿Con qué fin? Con el fin de poder entablar una discusión con los compañeros o con los profes o el profe de inglés. So keep these three in mind. They are very important for all of us. Okay. Okay, we have a video. Once again, we have a video. So watch Oh, I made a mistake there. Ahí debe decir, watch the video the first time and take notes. Vean el video y tomen apuntes. Que vamos a poner en práctica. Vean el video, tomen apuntes y ahora les hago unas preguntas. Here we go.
You're looking for room 7. Yeah, I figured. You want me to even those up for you? How do we get to room 7? I'll be on the 7th floor. Stairs right over there.
Rather take the elevator.
Out of order.
Love the stairs, though. They were my second choice.
Do you mind giving me a hand with this floor?
What?
That's good. Are you serious?
Oh, I'm kind of busy. Rain check.
I'll hold you to it.
I'm free on the 7th. That's 7.
7th, that's 7 it is.
This looks promising. Hello? A gigantic, ginormic waste of my life. Hello?
Yo, I'm looking for whoever runs this joint.
Be right with you. Trying to fix a light. Tell me if it's working.
Yeah, seems to be. Kind of bright, though.
Yeah, it is for most people. Spend their lives in the dark, trying to hide from me.
Well, the elevator's broken, huh?
Yeah, but I'll get around to it.
You install the clapper?
No, but that's a jingle, isn't it? The clapper. Just can't get it out of my head, man.
Good luck with that.
Okay, here's some questions. What room is the man looking for? Why doesn't he help the other man? What is the clapper? Why does the man say it is for most people trying to hide from me? Okay. Consider these 4 questions. I'll give you 1 minute. 1 minute. Try to answer those questions. And while you try and answer those questions, I am going to cough. Voy a toser un poco. Okay, I'm back. Okay. Question number 1. What room is the man looking for? Can somebody write or tell me the answer? What room is the man looking for? Anybody know? Anybody know what the room the man is looking for? Oops. Hold on. Okay. I'll tell you guys. He is looking for room 7. He's looking for room 7. Why doesn't he help the other man? ¿Por qué no le ayuda al otro señor cuando le pidió que si le ayudaba con el piso? ¿Recuerdan qué dijo él? He said, because I am busy. I am busy. Okay, what is the clapper? Anybody know what the clapper is? Well, the clapper is this para apagar la luz, yes? Or clap again para prender la luz de nuevo. Yes, that's a clapper. And finally, why does the man say it is for most people trying to hide from me? Resulta que en la película, el señor con el sombrero, el que está trepado por allá, él está haciendo el papel de Dios. Y el otro es una persona que tiene muchos problemas, entonces es aquella persona que está buscando respuestas de la manera más rápida. Entonces, ¿qué ocurre? Que cuando le dice, por favor mire si la luz prende. Y entonces, justo cuando prende y él está mirando hacia arriba, es mucha luz y el que está abajo le dice, sí, pero es un poco muy brillante. Y entonces el que está haciendo el papel de Dios va bajando, le dice, sí es para la mayoría de la gente que tratan de esconderse de mí. Entonces, él siendo Dios le dice al otro eso. Si no conocen la película se llama Bruce Almighty, una película chistosa. El actor es Jim Carrey, que pues la película es de tiempo atrás, pero es muy chistosa. Si tienen la oportunidad de verla, véanla, que es muy buena, muy chistosa. Okay, so now watch the rest of the video. Veamos el resto del video y la idea es que ustedes escriban una pregunta. Write one question. Según lo que ustedes escuchan y ven, escriban una pregunta. Here we go.
This looks promising. Hello? A gigantic, ginormic waste of my life. Hello? Yo, I'm looking for whoever runs this joint.
Be right with you. Trying to fix a light. Tell me if it's working.
Yeah, seems to be. Kind of bright, though.
Yeah, it is for most people. Spend their lives in the dark, trying to hide from me.
Well, the elevator's broken, huh?
Yeah, but I'll get around to it.
You installed the clapper?
No, but that's a jingle, isn't it? The clapper. Just can't get it out of my head, man.
Good luck with that. Gotta go now.
Dave, but the boss will be right out. You must be Bruce. I've been expecting you.
This is hilarious. So you're the boss and the electrician and the janitor. Must be a killer Christmas party. Don't get drunk, though. One of you might need a ride home.
You always were funny, Bruce. It's like your father. He didn't mind rolling up his sleeves either, son. People underestimate the benefit of good old manual labor. It's freedom in it. Some of the happiest people in the world go home smelling to high heaven at the end of the day.
How do you know my father, and how'd you get my pager number?
Oh, I know quite a lot about you, Bruce. Just about everything there is to know. Everything you've ever said, done, or thought about doing. Right there in that file cabinet.
Wow, a whole drawer just for me. What if I take a look?
Sure like it. So it'd be good. This last entry was a little disturbing. The gloves are off, God. God has taken my bird and my bush. God is a mean kid with a magnifying glass. Smite me, O mighty smiter. Now, I'm not much for blaspheming, but that last one made me laugh.
You spying on me? Who are you?
I'm the one. Huh? Creator of the heavens and the earth. Alpha and Omega.
Let's see where this is going.
Bruce. I'm God.
Bingo! Yahtzee! Is that your final answer? Our service has God! Bing, 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 bing. Well, it was nice to meet you, God. Thank you for the Grand Canyon, and good luck with the apocalypse. Oh, by the way, you suck! You know what would have been a little bit more impressive, though? If you hadn't used the cheesy file cabinet illusion. Anybody with a brainstem can tell that that drawer is being fed through the wall from the other side. All you have to do is find the crease right around here. There is a seam here. And the hollow spot.
Where? Through the drywall and concrete?
This is a good one. That is a one. Okay, how many fingers am I holding up?
Now, Bruce, thou shalt not tempt the Lord.
Hey, if you can't do it, man, that's cool.
3, 2, 4, 9, 6, 8, 1.
Okay. How many now?
7. Been doing a lot of complaining about me, Bruce. Quite frankly, I'm tired of it.
Wait. Don't come near me. Seriously, when I'm backed into a corner like a wild animal, I don't want to hurt you, but I will out of instinct.
You haven't won a fight since grade 5, but that was against a girl.
Yeah, she was huge. She could come back.
The sun was in your eyes. Anyway, I brought you here to offer you a job.
What job?
My job. You think you can do it better, so here's your chance. When you leave this building, you will be endowed with all my powers.
Whatever you say.
Okay. Anybody have any question that they wrote? La pregunta que hayan escrito. Jacob, did you write a question for us?
Professor, I have one question.
Yeah.
Why was the man surprised when the mister showed him the wall behind the drawers?
Okay. Good question. That's a good question. Repeat the question, please, Jacob.
Yeah?
Yeah, repeat the question.
Why was the man surprised when the mister, who represents God, showed him the wall behind the drawers?
Okay. What answer would you give to that question, Jacob?
The man was surprised because the drawers pushed him until the another extreme of the building, and behind the wall, behind the drawers didn't be nothing so large.
Okay. Very good,
That's
Jacob. Yes, because when he opened the drawer, it took him to the other side of the room. Yes?
yeah, exactly.
Okay. All right, very good. If anybody else has written a question, please put it on the chat. Thank you, Jacob, for your question. So ultimately, when we talk about during listening strategies, they're very important because they help the listener comprehend the audio video better. They help build a context of the audio and video. Entonces, durante el listening, digamos la actividad auditiva, las estrategias que se utilizan durante el listening son muy importantes porque nos ayudan a comprender el audio o el video mucho mejor y nos ayudan a contextualizar o tener el contexto, la idea general de qué es el audio, de qué es el video, qué es lo que están diciendo. Entonces recordemos que tenemos esos tres momentos. Primero era el pre, este es el durante y antes de ir a la próxima tenemos esta pregunta que es why should we use during listening strategies? ¿Por qué las deberíamos de utilizar? Because it builds effective listening. Porque construye o nos ayuda con la audición efectiva para poder hacer que de pronto entablar una conversación con los compañeros o el profe o para hacer un análisis de lo que estamos escuchando. Por esta razón es que utilizamos las estrategias durante el listening. Okay, good. Got one more. We'll go real fast. We're almost finished. Session number 4. Number 4 is the post listening. Entonces tenemos el pre, que es el antes, during, que es durante, y ahora el post, que es después. En el post listening activities, ¿qué hacemos? ¿O para qué son esas actividades? Bueno, nos ayudan a reflexionar y make a review. Yes, reflexionar and make a review. Y que es prácticamente lo mismo, they help summarize and paraphrase, parafrasear. Cuando hablamos de parafrasear, es yo escucho algo, lo comprendo, lo analizo, lo entiendo perfectamente o lo entiendo en términos generales, pero luego puedo hablar de ello, puedo parafrasear, decirlo en mis propias palabras. Entonces, por estas dos razones es que el post, el después, post listening activities are very, very important. Okay, but what are they? What are they? What post listening activities should be used? ¿Cuáles debemos de utilizar? ¿Qué tipo de actividad en el post, en el después? Bueno, tenemos interactive discussions and debates based on the listening material. Entonces, son discusiones o debates interactivos basados en el material o el audio o el video que vimos. ¿Okay? También tenemos encouraging self-assessment and peer assessment. ¿Para qué sirven esas actividades de post-listening? Es para poder hacer que yo me pueda asesorar o evaluar, más bien evaluar acerca de lo que yo comprendí. ¿Qué comprendí yo y por qué? Entonces, yo voy a tener esa discusión conmigo mismo, pues mentalmente hablando, o por defecto en sus clases van a tener esa misma discusión con sus profes o un debate acerca de lo que ustedes escucharon o vieron en algún video. Entonces, encourage self-assessment, que es el propio, evaluarme a mí mismo, o peer assessment, evaluar a mis compañeros. ¿En cuestión de qué? De que si ellos dijeron algo, por decir el profesor o la profesora hizo una pregunta y un compañero contestó, yo puedo evaluar a mi compañero no dándole una nota, pero es como diciéndole o yo pensando que estuvo bien la respuesta por X o Y razón, o si no, yo le puedo ofrecer a mi compañero algo no sé, puedo decirle, mira, tú dijiste esto, pero podría ser esto debido a que yo entendí esto o simplemente complementar lo que dijo el compañero. Pues por eso el post, el después, post listening activities son muy importantes y deberían de ser utilizadas por estas dos razones. Ok. Predict. Vamos a poner las tres a trabajar en este momento. Entonces, tenemos una imagen y dice, look at the picture and try to describe what is happening to Peter Parker. En este caso está miti los dos. Peter Parker, porque no tiene la máscara puesta, y Spider-Man, porque tiene todo el uniforme de Spider-Man. Entonces, look at the picture and try to describe what is happening to Peter Parker. Jacob, do you know what is happening to Peter Parker?
He's looking for something that surprises him.
Okay, he's looking for something that
Or
surprises
maybe
him.
makes frightened of him.
Okay, very good, Jacob. That's a possibility. That is a possibility. Okay, so let's continue with this one. And really quick so we can finish. And it says, watch the video and use the listening strategy skills. The pre ya la utilizamos porque mostramos una foto del video. Jacob nos dijo que de pronto está buscando algo. Y luego el during es cuando ustedes toman apuntes. Y por último, estamos en the post, yes, que es de pronto tener en cuenta todo lo que yo he visto, todo lo que escribí para poder entablar una conversación o para contestar preguntas. Yes, y este es el video.
Peter, honey, can I come in?
No!
Peter, the final starts at 9, honey. And you said you would take my car into the shop because it keeps dying. Remember?
Give me a second, I'm gonna get the door. Just give me a second.
Peter, please just let me in, all right?
I'm
But you
trying
said
to
the
get.
final was at 9, and you would take
Just
my
give me
car
a.
into the shop.
No, can't come in. Stay outside. I'm so naked. It's just.
Peter, for goodness sake, you said you're going to take my car into the shop because. Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm very naked right now.
What happened to your face? It's filthy.
It is?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I was cleaning the chimney.
We have no chimney.
What?
You're late.
I know, I'm late.
Downstairs.
I can't.
Now.
Can you
All
leave?
right,
Because
I'm
we used to be
leaving.
naked here. Morning, I love you.
I love you too.
Okay, so that was Peter Parker. Let's talk about the video clip. In this video clip, Peter Parker was trying to hide from his mother because he was out saving people and doing good things, but he returned to his house and he could not take off his costume. And so his mother found him with his face dirty and all of these things. So, yeah, that's the idea. The idea is to be able to talk about it after. If you took notes, good. If you take your notes, you read your notes, and you get a context. After that, you talk about what you listened to, what you heard. Okay, that's the idea. Okay, and finally, let's wrap it up. Please remember, you have 3 things you need to remember to improve your listening. Number 1, you listen. Before the pre-listening is you have to have information. Necesitan tener información. You need to have information about what you're going to see and about what you're going to listen. Number 2, you have the strategies or the activities to do while you're watching the video, and that is to take notes. Take notes, analyze, and try to have a context. And number 3 is to be able to take your notes and your information and try to talk about what you watched. That is the idea of the 4 sessions that we had today. 5th one with this. Let's wrap it up. So I want to thank you guys for being in masterclass number 7. Yes, I want to thank directly Isabel, Jacob, Jeronimo, and Santiago. Thank you very much. And the people that were in before. So thank you very much. I hope you guys have a good weekend. And for some of you, or if not for all of you, remember we have the we have the class tomorrow at the university at 8:30. Okay, so thank you very much. I hope you guys have a good evening, and we'll
Was
see
the
you.
class in the same building?
Yeah, tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow in the same place we did 8 days ago. Okay.
Okay, Professor. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
All right. Thank you. Okay, you guys take care, and we will talk to you tomorrow. Goodbye.
God bless you, Professor. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye bye.